John 16, verse 12, Jesus said, I still have many things to say to you, but you are not able to bear them now. Yes, Jesus discerned when the apostles were simply not able to deal with a certain teaching. What did he do? He simply skipped over it. In essence, he told them, it's fine, we'll deal with this later. So, how can we be patient as we teach? We imitate Jesus. To begin, we treat each student uniquely. Each person is a unique individual. We don't assume that what worked for one student is going to work for another student. So in this regard, we use our study aids, such as Enjoy Life Forever, effectively, not rigidly. Now, what would be a rigid approach to using Enjoy Life Forever? Well, it could be something like this. We did question 2, now we do question 3. We did lesson 12, now we do lesson 13. But what if, in the course of discussing lesson 13, we find that our student is really struggling to grasp the point, or maybe even more, struggling to accept the point that we're discussing from the scriptures? Well, if we discerned this, we could simply keep pounding away on lesson 13 until they either finally get it or give up, or we could consider applying Jesus' example. Why not simply say we can skip this and deal with it later, as we learned in John 16, verse 12.
This was absolutely fascinating. Thank you for saying the quiet part out loud. Michael Reno from the Warwick, New York headquarters, who we've been listening to there, Michael's been taking us through the symposium item on the Saturday morning of the Exercise Patience Convention. We recommend ourselves as God's ministers by patience when teaching Bible students. And in essence, what Michael's just been saying here is, if a Bible student or someone studying with Jehovah's Witnesses disagrees with us on a certain point, just shelve it. Just say, well, we'll come back to that later. Maybe they'll even forget that they brought the subject up to begin with. And by the time they remember that there was this thing that they actually didn't agree with, they will already have been sold on other points. They will already have swallowed huge chunks of indoctrination. And so, because they're so committed to this ideology, because they have the sunk cost fallacy, in other words, they've invested so much, this little niggling thing that wasn't addressed earlier on in the Bible study suddenly becomes more palatable. That's what he's describing here. That's how cults manipulate people. I get asked time and time again in the comments to these videos or when I'm chatting with people in person, how do people fall for this stuff? Well, here's one example. When Jehovah's Witnesses are studying with interested ones, they are encouraged by their leaders to withhold information, to be sneaky, to be surreptitious, to say to their Bible students, you know what, you may not agree with what we're talking about here, it may not make any sense to you, but you know what, let's leave it for now, and maybe it will make sense later.